And that gets us to our showcase tonight, which I'm very excited about. One of the things we like to do when we get a lot of good feedback is when people show practical different tools and how they're using it. And Sarat, I'm going to turn it over to you. Introduce yourself, and we'll kick it off. And you'll go for about 20 or so minutes, and then we'll have 10 minutes of questions. And then the last 10 or 15 minutes of the meeting, we call it open mic, and that's where people can ask for the mic and share something you're learning, or share if they think that Sora is a great tool or not, or ask questions of the group.
All right. Thank you so much, Paul. Hey, everyone. I'm Sarat, based out of Boston. I'm a product designer at Verizon, and I see some familiar faces because I met a couple of you in some meetups in Boston. So excited to see you again. So today we're going to see a tool called Galileo AI, where with text prompts, we can generate editable UI designs. So while I give the demo, I'm also going to talk about what is the future of these tools and how it's going to affect workflow of product designers. So let's dive in and get started. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. So to follow along, you can head to use Galileo.ai. And here on the homepage, we can see a couple of designs generated by users. You can see the text prompt. So you can generate mobile and web designs. So we're going to go ahead and create a mobile app. So I'm going to go to text to UI section here. I'm going to ensure it's in mobile. And here are a couple of few prompts. I prepared a prompt. Let me go ahead and paste it over here. So here, let's try to build a space tourism booking app where users can seamlessly book flights to space for an unparalleled extraterrestrial experience. So as you know, space tourism is the new hot topic. So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. So once our prompt is there, we'll go ahead and click on the generate button. Similar UI to ChatGPT, where you're giving prompts and refining the design. It takes a couple of few seconds for the bot to generate a few designs. While it's generating, I can talk about, how this tool is going to be beneficial and who is this tool for actually at the moment. Right now, I would say this tool is for someone who's a non-designer, someone like an engineer or like a project manager who wants to quickly generate a few mockups based on text prompts. And also it's very useful for designers as well to help them expedite their brainstorming session, generate quick mockups. And this tool, really ensures that, it opens up, makes it very accessible for anybody who wants to design something and present to somebody. All right, it looks like we have a couple of screens designed here. We can go ahead and take a look here. Okay. We see a couple of flights. All right, we see the price. Looks like we can book the time and we can see some tickets. All right, great. As you can see there, we can definitely drill down and go edit and go Figma. We'll get into that soon, but let's go and see what the bot is presenting here. So the bot has designed 3 variants for the space flight booking screen. The first variant features a clean layout with filters. Okay, so it looks like it's describing what's there in each layout. And another cool thing is you can go here. Let's say you already have a design guideline. Like let's say green is your brand color, and maybe your brand is more on creating more light experiences. And some brands are like, they have a corner radius or something, and maybe you have a dedicated brand font. Let's say Inter is my dedicated brand font. Let's go ahead and apply this theme to see how that works. Great. So it applied my brand colors and brand font. That's great. All right. Let me go ahead and write an additional prompt saying that maybe want to see another screen. Design screen where users can book flight to moon. Let's see how that works. While that's working, the most useful feature of this app is you can copy these designs. As I mentioned earlier, these are editable. Figma is a design collaborative tool, which I'll open in a second. So I'll show you how these designs, we can take it to the next level. All right, let's see. All right. So we have a couple of screens here. All right, looks cool. So for example's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe copy the screen. It says Figma. Go ahead and click copy. All right, it says it's copied. So I go into a Figma, which is a completely different tool where majority of the product designers use this. All I have to do is paste Command V or Control V, depending upon your Mac or Windows. Great. Okay. You might think, hey, this is just the image. What can I do? But actually, as you open here, each element is editable. I can edit it. It's that robust. I can go ahead and change images. It's pretty editable. This makes for a product designer to take this design to the next level, maybe add some more additional buttons here, maybe add some more design to make it more elegant. Let me go ahead and copy other screens. I'll go ahead and maybe copy this screen. And go ahead and paste it over here. Oops. Looks like I didn't copy that screen. All right. All right. So as you can see, looks like they have a bottom navigation. So that gives a good start for us to brainstorm how we want to structure this navigation, how we want to build this app. Now I'm going to talk about an example where I already built out a fully fleshed design. Let me go ahead and open that real quick. So here, I built out this fully fleshed design. What I mean by that is, let me go ahead and prototype mode. So in this case, I designed a smart home app. So as I click on it, I can see, the interaction happening. That's great. Then maybe I want to go to automation. I want to go ahead and create an automation. As you can see, there's no limit to this. You can keep iterating on it. You can keep taking the design to the next level, make a prototype and share it with your developer or team and continue to iterate on it. So we saw a quick overview. What we can do, similar to ChatGPT, you can keep adding more prompts and refine it. But I feel the future of this tool and how this is going to affect the product designers, it's not going to replace junior designers. What it's going to do is people are going to include this kind of tool in their workflow. What I mean by that is every design company or any software company have their own design systems. When I say design systems, it's like brand guidelines. They have their own set of components, set of patterns, set of what kind of buttons to use, what kind of user experience for these kind of screens. So all that pattern, all that data, all the user experience data will be fed to the AI model and it'll train on that. So whenever you, let's say I say design a space flight booking screen, it's going to use all the patterns that I've trained on, all the components that our brand uses, all the fonts, all the spacing padding, based on all that parameters, it's going to design a fully fleshed out design, which will be almost close to a production ready design, where of course designers, where humans can go and further ensure everything's looking great. And the other additional cool step about this AI tools, how it's going to evolve is it's going to do the user testing for you right there. It's going to create a persona. Okay, it looks like for this flight app, the user group is going to be rich people and people who are more space enthusiasts. It's going to create a persona and it's going to run a user test. It's going to generate heat maps. It's going to see where we are lacking. It's going to check accessibility to ensure if the app is accessible or not. That's where this industry and all these AI tools related to product design is going to head in that direction. So that is in a nutshell what this tool can do. And there are other tools like Wizard, same like text to UI, and everything is popping up. And also, as you saw there, you may ask, hey, what's the difference between this and Midjourney? Because I can generate images in Midjourney too. The Midjourney is not trained on UI, UX kind of data. And sometimes the texts are not legible and the patterns it might look very futuristic, whatever it's going to generate, but it doesn't make sense. And those are not editable. That's why tools like this will play a major role in the product design workflow. Does anybody have any questions?
Sarat, this is great. Can you share a little bit about what tools we're using before this and what's the benefit? Is it saving you time? What's a disadvantage?
Yes, let me show you. Okay, let's say I had this idea, I want to build a space tourism app. All right, this is how in actual product design, this is what we do right now. Let's say we all jump on a call, we start drawing everything. Okay, you know what? Maybe here we should have like a back arrow, maybe like a back arrow here. This would be like a wireframe design. Here we'll have like a image, and here we'll have like, we'll write like available flights, and here we'll have all the flight details. So you would manually type out everything. As you can see, it takes quite some time to build it. And also it doesn't even look that pretty. It looks very rough. It looks like a wireframe. Here, we not only generated, we generated like almost, I wouldn't say this is a production design ready, but it is a good starting point where I can go and start messing with it. You know what, actually, I don't want the image to look like this. I want it to have a rounded corners. I can go like, make it look stylistic, and I want the text to go over here and all that kind of stuff. Maybe I want to have a background here with, to make it feel like it's whatever one. I can start like, editing stuff to make it. So it's saving design teams the initial process, the brainstorming. And also, since the AI is trained on a lot of other design patterns, one of the best class design available, is going to generate really well-structured designs. Of course, there would be here and there some errors, but it's going to get you to a point where you would be saving at least 2 weeks worth of work, where you're like brainstorming, ideating with your team, trying to come up with the wireframe, then trying to come up with a design, which visual design something close to this, and then take it to the next one. So something like that usually takes, I would say, at least 1 to 2 weeks. So we would be saying 1 to 2 weeks of time. And also, once you do this, as I was talking about, the other features that we can have, like user testing. User testing is the longest process we have. Of course, we cannot replace the human user testing we do, but at least we can replace some of the basic initial testing, which is something like, hey, should I place the button here for better access, or is my design accessible? Something like those are very time consuming, are very takes a lot of effort from human to go and manually check for everything if it's accessible or not. Something like an AI tool, if it can do that, it can definitely, like, we have a whole sprint dedicated to accessibility. That's like 3 weeks of sprint to check all the design screens, if they're accessible or not, the spacing is correct or not, if they're brand compliant or not. So we'll save 3 weeks there. So basically, we would finish the major decision part, I would say, in like 2 sprints. Now we have like 6 or 7 sprints to get to a final design lock. That's when we give to the developer. And of course, that's a different story. Once we give to the developer, now there are also tools with this design, I can upload in a tool called TL Draw, and with some few text prompts, I can make this fully functional code. I can spit out the code from here, and I just need to connect APIs, and it's done. So I won't even, in the future, developers can also get the app to the market even faster. So I would say some tools like this will definitely save a lot of time once they get even better and better.
That's great. So we got a couple of questions here, Greg's, and then the other one. The Greg Olson asks, how do you feed your design systems into it? I think
that's a great question. Right now, none of these tools are capable of that. What I think would happen is every design system comes with a very detailed documentation. It could be a PDF or something. That is something you can feed into it, which contains the brand colors hex code. And some of the design systems contain like component library. I'm sure it could be like let's say a Figma file. Maybe I upload the Figma file to the AI bot. Hey, here's my design system file. Go through it, and here are all the rules. These are the padding. This is the spacing we use. And it's gonna go, and also I'm gonna upload all my previous designs with the patterns that we use based on our design system, all the previous work we did. We're going to feed it to that. So it's going to understand not only which button to use, but it'll also understand in the previous design screens that we did so far for the app, what's the pattern like? Because we have already tested, and those are working. They're already in the production. So we already have a repository of what works, what is a good pattern. And it also saves a lot of time and effort for any new designers we onboard. Whenever we onboard designers in any company, they have to go through a lot of training. They have to read all this design system, and it always happens. They always mess it up, or it's so hard to grasp all that quickly and get a perfect design. And we keep going back and forth, and again we add another sprint that makes a delay. definitely it's going to add value, especially to bringing someone up to speed really fast. And coming back to the design system with all the patterns and all the data we have, it's going to get faster. For example, if I design this screen, let's imagine we had an AI button. I would do this. It'll automatically check the spacing and adjust it for me. Not only tell me the spacing is wrong, it's going to adjust the spacing for me, and it's going to ensure it's brand compliant. And all the components that are used are from our design system.
All right, that's great. We've got a question on a meeting chat I'll ask, and others are welcome to raise your hand. And Sarat, one thing you mentioned, accessibility. People haven't been through accessibility. Getting that right in design is so much easier than shipping a product and spending tens and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, getting it correct, and then going back and having to rechange your design because of accessibility. Vivian asked two questions. Sarat, one, Vivian says, great demo. First question is, after the initial design is done, could the user make edits through the text conversation, or the users have to edit through the edit button?
You can definitely go ahead and add additional prompts here. Hey, can you redo this? Imagine it to be like Midjourney or ChatGPT. You can keep going and further. You don't have to click edit here. You're welcome to click edit and even drill down further. You can go here and type, can you recreate? Let's try here. Like, can you make another version? Let's say. Yeah, the experience is very similar to ChatGPT, I would say, or Midjourney, where you can just continue with text prompt. But if you prefer, hey, you know what, I want to take this to Figma and do it by myself, you could do that too. So while this is to your question, yes, we can do that.
That's great. The other question is, could it provide different design style or options for the users to choose? I think that's what you're showing, correct?
Yes. So I asked it, can you make another version? So it's going to change. As you can see, it looks a little bit different. The look and feel, we see some cool radio buttons here. That's cool. Maybe we can give a reference. Can you make it in the style of Airbnb app?
This is great.
Let's see if that works. So you can provide references. And another thing, important thing that I didn't show here, there's a tab here. It says image to UI. So if you have some inspiration, you can upload the image there and you can get an editable version of it, put it on your Figma, and you can use that for inspiration and, recreate it or do whatever you want with it. So let's see if, so this style looks very, I don't know if you guys have, remember the Airbnb style. This style is very similar to Airbnb. The way, like if you used Airbnb app. So it's so amazing to see where if you even reference it, can you make it look like this? It's gonna understand, because Airbnb have this rounded corners in the app. It has a similar font and similar kind of a visual hierarchy and the buttons like that. And you can see the tabs. It's very similar to Airbnb. Whenever you get a chance, go to Airbnb app and you put this side by side. It's pretty much a similar style.
So that's fabulous. Lucinda, go ahead. Lucinda's got a question.
Yeah, I had a question. So somebody had asked about, does this connect with your kind of normal software for getting, I guess, these types of things out? And I do find that that's a question that if you could go a little bit more into that, like how do you then take this and move it into your production? And the reason I'm asking is because I look at things like Jasper AI, right? And so it can do all this really cool stuff with emails, but it's not MailChimp, And so, like, should they become the next MailChimp, or, what's going to be the way that these type of generative AI, really cool startups with really cool feature groups kind of either take over or meld into the established players for this category? So interested in your thoughts on that. Like, what are you going to do when you want to take one of these and make it actually work for your business?
Great, that's a fantastic question. That's a valid point. Tools like this are never going to replace like big enterprise softwares like Figma, because how companies work is they buy all this license, and it's so difficult to acquire another product and have multiple licenses. It's quite cumbersome. The future of these tools, how it's going to work is, I'm sure maybe Figma will buy this company or companies like this and integrate it in their own native tool. So rather than me going here, doing here, copying the designs and pasting here, it will all happen in this platform. And I think that's the goal, even for majority of the AI tools, plugins that I see, they make all this because it's too much to ask for a user, hey, stop using Figma and now start using Galileo AI. It's not robust, it's not scalable, because right now it can only do text to UI, whereas Figma can do all this. As you can see, there are like million buttons here and all that stuff going on. So it will only act as a supplement. It'll never replace this. And to your question, whatever designs is generated, how do we take it forward? As I showed earlier, let me go ahead and let's see if I can copy this design. So I go ahead and click this. I go to my Figma screen and I go ahead and paste it. So I have this design here. As we discussed earlier, everything is editable. I can go here. You know what? I don't like this color. I can go ahead and, like, just start changing it. Or maybe here, this one, I want to change it to this color or whatever. So there's a lot of flexibility for designers. Whatever is generated, maybe this is good enough for me to get started, to take it to the next level. So I see a lot of value. And what would be great is if all this functionality is in the same tool, rather than me going to a browser, generating all this, copying it, pasting here. I think it would be great if it's all integrated in one app. And I think that's the future will be. And I'm sure Figma is doing a lot of stuff in terms of AI. And that's how this whole thing is going. Maybe they'll acquire this technology and integrate it in their software.
So does it create a file that then you can import into Figma, or do you have to actually just like redo all the elements?
So as I showed here, I just clicked on this button and I just pasted here. It just pasted here. So it's, and the best part is it's in the Figma format. As you can see here.
Oh, I see. It's in the Figma format. Okay. All right.
It's all editable. So it's very useful. You can, whatever you're generating, it's not just image like what you would see in Midjourney, where you cannot go and change the background, put in, of course, you can get it in Photoshop and try to do all the clone stamp and all that. It's a lot of cumbersome work. But this is copy pasted. I can also, if I want, hey, you know what, I want to make it responsive, and I can go ahead and start, like, moving stuff and all, and I can start, all that kind of stuff. I can make it web. I want this experience for web version. I can go ahead and start messing with it and, move all this stuff. And it's pretty robust, pretty flexible.
All right. Thank you.
Sarat, this is great. So if in my simple brain, if I call this almost a way to pre-populate a Figma tool, is that, because if my team's already using Figma, everyone knows that. This is the way to pre-populate that into that. Is that a correct way?
I wouldn't say pre-populate, because Figma still has like component library. You can use a component library and drag and drop stuff. What is this tool is, it's gonna, whatever the initial design process is involved in any kind of team, that's gonna cut your time by at least by half. Like, you'll be much faster. Like, if you were to come to this level, let's say I say, hey, Paul, can your design team work on this app Airbnb style where I can book flight tickets? First, your team has to collect references from Airbnb. They're going to take screenshot, put it there. Okay, Airbnb has a corner radius of 8 pixels. They need to get all that. Okay, fine. Okay, what are we going to do in our design? How it's going to be layered? Are we going to have search here? What are we going to do here? So that's going to take a lot of time to figure out. Okay, they're going to put it and then try to mimic the Airbnb. Trust me, to do that, it's going to take you 2 to 3 weeks. And of course, it'll be an iterative process. So you're going to cut down that 3 weeks worth of brainstorm and all the time, because time is money. You save a lot of time. You can get your initial brainstorming done in a few seconds.
Really fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's do one more question. Go ahead, Christina, and then we'll I want to go to John and then open mic.
So Sarat, if I have a design document and or examples of designs I want it to use as the basis for the new design, is there a way to upload those, or do I put in the chat, say, design using these design parameters, and then paste all of my design parameters?
That's a great question. So as you can see, there's a tab here, image to UI. You can go here and you can upload your image here, and then you add your prompt. Using the above reference image, can you create an app which does XYZ? And you can go here and whatever theme you want, whatever you want, or just leave it as is, that it's going to generate based on that. It's going to generate 4 prompts. And then you can take it from there. Yes, you can do that.
That's great. Go ahead, Chuck.
Hey, Sarat, thanks. Good job. Two quick questions. Can you do a sketch, upload a sketch, or you have to be an image?
Yes, you can do a sketch. Let me show you a different tool for that. So of course, there are a lot of tools coming up in this space. So as you can see, you can put you can upload even a napkin sketch. You can upload it, and it's going to generate a design. Of course, it won't be pixel perfect. Of course, from there you can take it to the next level, and with additional prompts, you can make it even more pretty. So to answer your question, yes, we can do that.
And then the second quick follow-up question, is it free or is it a subscription-based?
These all have a free tier, which gives you limited credits, which will help you generate maybe a couple of maybe 5 or 10 screens at the max. And after that, it's a subscription-based model where you pay per, you pay $20 a month, you get 5,000 credits. If you want more credits, there's a higher tier plan. So yeah, all these tools are going to be more basically like subscription-based models.
So thank you, Chuck. Sarat, fabulous work. Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you guys are interested to learn more, I created a detailed video. You can go to my website, sarat.design, and you scroll down. There is this section called Generative UI Designs with Text Prompt. Just click on it. And in this video, I go in extremely detail, like all the designs I generate and how I manipulate it and how I properly make a fully working design. So if you're interested, I'll drop this link in the chat, and you can go ahead and explore this video. And maybe if you want to play around, you can see there are other tutorials that I made. You can feel free to check it out.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Sarat, for putting that in the chat. I want to jump 5 minutes to go ahead, Adam.
Oh yeah, thanks, Paul. I want to say thanks to Sarat as well, and just comment straight away. The first thing I always do is I go and look at pricing. And one, I appreciate that you have the pricing up front. And two, I think just a bit of feedback that you're doing it right. You give people some credits, you give them an opportunity to get in there and experience the value of the tool at no cost. And I wish you all the best, man. It looks like you're going to have great success.
All right, thanks so much.
Yeah, great. So I want to take just 5 minutes. John Svielka, Dr. John Svielka is online. John, you want to share a little bit about the article that got published today, and then we'll go to open mic. John, are you on mute?
No, yeah.
We can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Is that working?
It is, yes. Now we don't hear you.
Try this mic. Is that better?
That is better. We can hear you now.
Okay, very good. I just want to say, Sarat, thanks. Back to what we're talking about with the WINS framework in terms of design. Talk about technology that's going to radically change that profession. And it's a wonderful product. So thank you for sharing that with us. So today's Harvard Business Review online. It's on the homepage. We just got an article published that talks about basically thinking about redesigning business processes when the machine can talk back. And the point we make is that for the past, since the beginning of automation, we've taken stuff out of people, out of animals, and stuffing it into machines, and then maybe interrogating it, but it's really not an ongoing dialogue. And so, and a lot of people are talking about human in the loop, and we want to change that conversation from human in the loop to what's in the lead. Is the AI in the lead? Is the human in the lead? And so we laid out a way to think about that, and we call it design for a dialogue. Let me tell you the 3 core things that are in it. One is that you do a rigorous analysis, very much like assessing who's the right person for which kind of work in a team, if you will. Break down that process, think it through, and then say, okay, is it AI or the human that's in the lead at that particular time? The second thing to think about is think about interaction protocols that are more like team ground rules. Like how are you going to interact? What do the prompts look like? How are you going to escalate? And so forth, and really outline how the AI and humans can communicate and collaborate rather than just establishing any kind of fixed process that is taking it out of a human into a machine. And then the third part of it is really constant updating and debriefing, and to understand what's being assessed and understood. One of the case studies that we have in it is from getjerry.com. a company that presented at our conference in the fall. And the company's valued at over $450 million. They have over 5 million customers, and they're a one-stop shop for folks looking for insurance or refinancing of their car. And they were able to take 200,000 messages that they get through chat and through text, and then they put it in an AI solution last May, and they went from having only 54% of customer inquiries answered within 24 hours to having over 100% of the time they answered within that, and 96 within the 24 hours, usually within 20 seconds. And then over 96% of the queries went straight to the machine. The people were a lot happier, and it's saving them about $4 million a year. If you look at what they did, they went through and they did a sub-analysis. They created a bunch of different agents, an escalation agent, a marketing agent, and they, when he was doing the presentation in September of last year, remember it launched in May, he was illustrating the 74th iteration of that model. So that's how, when we talk about that, continuous improvement and so forth, that's a good example of it. And then last thing is we actually organize GenAI insights like this. When we're doing any kind of research or customer, the first question we always ask each other is, are we using the robot enough? And it's something you really have to, break your habits. Paul and I, just to tell a quick story, Paul did a little video on this. Paul and I were going over an operating agreement and for the company, and we're sitting there and we'd made some changes and so forth, and we had an okay lawyer, and we looked at each other and said, this is after 2 hours, and we're trying to figure out what's a member and what's the managing director and what are the decision rights, all that other stuff. We finally slapped our foreheads and said, feed it to the robot, and said, give us the different roles in this document. What are the decision rights? What are the risks? And it pumped it right out, and it was beautiful. And so, likewise, as we build our research firm, we're always asking, are we designing for dialogue? And are we doing it in a way that's really having the right conversation between the silicon intelligence and the carbon-based intelligence that we have?
That's great. Thank you, John. And that was a 40-page legal document for people who don't know it. And the key thing that for me it helped is to speak non-legalese. Tell me what this document is, and put it into a table, and then tell me what the top 5 risks of signing this document are in rank order. Pull it out like that, and if we'd asked a lawyer, it would have taken us I don't know what, it's $600 an hour for him to, and we'd still been confused. So thanks, John. Let's open up the open mic. Who has things they'd like to share? Who's not blown away by Sora?
And apologies to everyone, I have to leave early to go do a family thing. So it's great seeing you all. Please enjoy, and please comment on the article if you have time. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Who's seen some great stuff they want to share? Who's got basic questions? Who's got a headache from all these changes? Who's not shy? This is the shyest group I think we've had all year, Rosemary.
I just want to give a shout out to Sarat here. The tool that he demoed is just awesome. And I painfully lived it these last 2 weekends where I was doing very painful wireframes and then translating those wireframes over to a Figma design. It burned 4 of my entire Saturday, Sunday on a hobby project. And I really wish I had found this tool beforehand, enjoyed my Saturday instead of burning it on design, which I don't like doing.
Alden, keep
Glad
sharing.
you're able to, going forward, you can use this tool.
And Alden, share a little more for someone who's done a lot of stuff here. That saved you what, time? Did it make a better product? Or next time, what are the benefits of using a tool like this?
The biggest benefits is for people that are creatively challenged like me, but can speak English. It allows me a simple way of translating English to a creative design, right?
Oh,
For me, 4 days of my precious weekend had to be burnt because I just could not elucidate what I wanted the design to be. And so I was like with the designer, he's across the world, and we like put this button here, and all of that stuff was extremely painful to do. And the irony is, it takes me 4 days to do design and then 1 day to do coding. So that's the benefit of a tool like this.
That's great. It's almost a new category. It's almost text to design. It's like a
Exactly.
lot of text to text, text to image, image
The-
to text. This is like text to design.
Yeah, it's totally, it is, we've heard of code generators. This is now design generators. And I think the killer feature here is the copy to Figma part by far. I don't think that's where Midjourney or DALL-E or anybody do that.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Alden. Go ahead, Chuck.
Yes, thanks everybody. This is my first time here and I'm so happy to be here. And I just read through the dialogue. I think it's fantastic because one of the things, I just shared a link with you guys about weak to strong generalization. I just submitted a research paper to OpenAI on making AI safe. So I don't know what will happen to that, because I know I'm expecting at least 700 people applying for that $10 million grant that they have. Because when I was doing my research, there were about 700 people publishing research papers on this AI safety. So one of the things is this dialogue. I totally appreciate, I wanted to say that I appreciate the paper that you guys wrote about the dialogue, right? Because the AI assistants are going to be huge. I still want to find out, has anybody done any kind of AI assistants type of things rather than productivity tools like what Sarat showed us? I mean, those are time saving for sure, but has anybody done chats, like, assistants, AI assistants? And I leave it at that.
Yeah.
Share more. You're talking about just a chat bot or actually something that goes on to other agents?
No, the big beautiful thing about LLMs is they have two fundamental skill sets, barring the hallucinations, right? They have a vast store of knowledge that is collected from all over the place, better than Wiki. And they also can engage in a dialogue with you, right? So if you have a problem of some sort, they can work with you, right? They can help you solve. Because I wrote a custom GPT. If you go and ask Chat GPT that, let's say I have this problem, right? It will give you a very generic thing about how to solve all the things, and which everybody knows how to solve it. But if there is a data model behind it, and there is some kind of analytic technique behind it pertaining to that particular problem, it can walk you through the solution. So, right? So what I've done is, I was just playing with it. I created a model on personal relationships, right? Basically, what are the types of relationships? What are the attributes? What are the strengths and weaknesses of various strengths and weaknesses of a relationship? So I put a little data model, and then it will do a SWOT analysis on that data model based on that. So it will ask you questions on what is the relationship, what is the challenge, and it assess and does a SWOT analysis and tells you iteratively, and it will collect data based on it, what it is missing. So it's a very personalized assistant, right? So I got a feedback, some person who was planning her wedding, right? And she had so many people, she was getting stressed out trying to meet everybody's needs, right? And so she went and asked it, hey, I'm getting stressed out, my, whoever the people that were stressing her, and it gave her advice very nicely to, oh, this is how you can deal with it. So that's an assistant of one specific problem, but we can write so many assistants, right? And one thing that I was thinking, like, let's say if you're a salesperson and you have 10 emails that you get every day, and then you're writing 4 high-valued emails. Now, those 4 high-valued emails may take you half an hour to write each. You have to go through some products and you have to understand it. You can dump those 4 emails, and assuming the chat GPT knows your products and your customers and your lead times and whatever it is, it can draft that email in like 5 minutes or less than that. And then you just edit it and send it. So what is 4 hours work? You just did it in 15, 20 minutes. An assistant like that.
Oh, and Chuck, and we're on the sales side, we're seeing not only that, you can go further, put humor into the subject line. Give me a value proposition for the CTO that's different than a CFO.
Exactly.
It's different than that. Give me a value proposition for a visionary executive, economic value. Give me a value proposition for an implementation one. It's really, they're incredible.
Yeah, you can go make it, look it up, or that person on the LinkedIn, and then bring some content on what they wrote, or you can do so many things with that assistant.
Yeah, it's wonderful tools. Thank you, Chuck. Kevin, who else had Atlanta? Was it Kevin?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hop off in a minute though. Yeah, I was just wondering. This is my 3rd week on these webinars, and I'm getting a lot of great knowledge here. And I'm just wondering, do you have for those of us who are new, is there a link or something that we can access to see what other webinars that may have been demoed in the past?
Oh, yes. We have them all recorded, and they're in 2 different YouTube channels here. So I'll stick that in the yes, but I think yes, there are the previous recordings you can go through, and there's quite a few good ones there. And if you need a specific one, let me know.
Great.
Let me go look that up, link up now. Who else wants to grab the mic before we finish up here? Go ahead, Christina, let's get you. And then if Christine, if you don't do it, I want someone else to explain what Sora is for the other people who don't know what that is and why
Yes,
it's
I don't know what that is either. I was at the beginning, you went through a series of slides quickly, and like the other person that's new on the call, I would love to just be able to go through those slides or those images again without having to watch the whole recording. So if you could share those, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah. Or there would be a recording. You can go forward here, but if you send me an email, Christina, I'm happy to send you the slides as well. Or actually, let me upload those as well. Giving myself all the to-do items. What kind of meeting is this? So let's do Sora. Who want to share what Sora is and why? Adam, are you still on?
Yes, sir.
Adam, you want to explain what Sora is? Would you mind?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. I'm actually digging through. I've made a couple of videos about Sora as well, but in short, Sora is the new text and image and video to video. So you can either start with a prompt or a picture or a video, and it's an AI tool that can convert the video or make a video. And it's made by OpenAI, and it is incredible. It's not available yet. They've just been showcasing it. But literally they have videos up to a minute long where they type a cat walking through tall grass on a summer day, and it looks like someone actually filmed the cat. Just the realism and the capability. Paul, you posted on LinkedIn just the other day, there's, what was it, an $800 or an $80 million project that they put on hold to make a movie or something because they just saw Sora came out,
Yeah, I just put an $800 million movie studio. They just put on hold because of this technology. This wrecking ball is here now, and this is yet another great example of it.
But what I'll add though is that and I'll share the link in a second here. I'm trying to get it at the same time. There it is. Let me grab this. I made a video. It was called Sora, More Than Just a Pretty Face. And the point I'm really trying to make there is, although it's incredible at making videos, what you come to realize as you look more closely is it's not a world simulator, but it understands the relationship between objects. So for example, in the video I shared, you see a couple of boats floating around in a cup of coffee, but it actually instantiates these 2 objects. It ensures that they stay on top of the coffee, that they don't run into each other. And as a world simulator, and when you expand it out to things like training robots off video, this will very quickly extend far beyond just making videos. It's going to allow us to real-time generate videos that can then be used for other training purposes. It's an incredibly powerful breakthrough in terms of the next level of technology here.
I saw it today, and I thought it was fantastic. Everybody should see it. You just won't believe that it's not real.
Yeah. And Robert, one of the things that's shocking to me was 6 months ago, no one thought it could be this good. So at least the people I've talked with. So this is the technical advancement is exceeding high expectations already.
Absolutely. You have to see it for sure. The link is in the chat apparently. So I've seen it to 100 people probably.
Yeah. Christina, put in the chat the slides and the links to the other recordings. So make sure you download that. Looks like
And
someone.
it's openai.com/Sora if you want to check it out. But all of the video on this page was just generated from text. Like here, I'll let this one load for a second here. Maybe not. Yeah.
And the other demo,
I mean,
the people.
The prompt was a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, and black boots. And it made this entire video from that prompt. It's incredible.
So we saw Sarat went through text to design. This is a good example of text to video.
And Paul, if I may, if you notice just to the right of her here, there's a sign behind her. This is part of how you can indicate that it's an object model. You'll see the sign goes out of view, but it maintains the coherence. And when it comes back into view, it continues to be the exact same image.
So thank
There
you.
you go.
Just breathtaking. Thank you, Adam. We're a couple minutes over. So Sarat, again, fabulous presentation. Thanks everyone for all the contributions. Keeps getting the word out. We continue to learn every week because things keep changing. Have a great evening and a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.